What is up, guys? It's Sebastian Castillo here. Beautiful Sunday morning here in Cancun. Just relaxing, took a couple of sales calls, and I do have something interesting I want to share with you that happened yesterday. Let me just sit down and I'll tell you about it. So, I went out to the beach, nothing special, just hopping in the water, getting some sun and chilling out, right? And I was dressed in typical beach clothing. So I'm wearing my flip-flops, I'm wearing my swim trunks, and I usually been wearing a tank top with a small hole in it. Almost imperceptible. I didn't really care, it's just the beach. So I went and did that, and afterwards I went out to the mall to just grab something to eat, hang out, and of course it's always a nice bonus if I'm there and maybe I see a good looking woman walking around and strike up a conversation, right? And it is what happened. But get this. I was sitting there on a bench, and then I see a woman at the corner of my eye. She's dressed in gym clothes, all white, and even without looking at her directly, I can already tell she's really good looking. She's in great shape. In fact, with the long jet black hair, it's almost apparent that she was Colombian or Venezuelan or something like that. So I'm sitting here in my beach bum clothing. I've even got a bright orange tote bag from one of the grocery stores here with my towel and everything. I even had a few granules of sand still on me that I quickly wiped off. And so she walks past me. She made some brief eye contact, but she walks past me. And then I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, I'm really not dressed my best here. I'm not feeling that confident, and a girl like her probably gets approached by tons of guys, and she probably has a boyfriend. She probably goes out with super rich guys, whatever it is. Then I stopped myself and I thought, I have no idea if any of that is true. They're just assumptions. And of course, she was really good looking. But then I decided, I have to get up and I have to just give it a shot, because life is short. And if I don't do this, I'm certainly going to regret it. So I got up and I went over to her. I struck up a conversation, and it turns out, yes, she was Venezuelan. And we actually started chit-chatting and getting to know each other, and she was friendly. So what's funny is, the back of my mind, I was thinking, usually a girl this good looking is going to tell me to fuck off. Or maybe not in such a direct way. She's going to tell me she has a boyfriend, or with her body language, she's not going to stop and chit-chat. But she was completely open to getting to know me and having a conversation there. So naturally, I decided, okay, well, I have to take this further. So I said, why don't we go down to the cafe here, grab a pastry, and just chit-chat and get to know each other a bit more? And she was into it. So there we go. That's a small victory right there. So we ended up hanging out for a good hour or so, just talking, learning about her background, sharing more about myself. And it's funny because a lot of Venezuelans are actually pretty entrepreneurial. Now, of course, you've got your bad apples. And Venezuelans have a pretty bad reputation in general. But she's pretty good. Now, it wasn't until after the fact that I thought to myself, okay, well, she told me she's a model and that she was doing her school in Europe and everything. It is possible that she, like most Venezuelans or Colombians, she has some rather clandestine methods of funding her lifestyle. But I didn't want to pry into that. I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. And usually when you meet those kinds of women, they have a general vibe that you can sense, at least if you have some measure of social acumen. So anyways, we're sitting there getting to know each other. She's opening up to me. We're having a couple of laughs. And we ended up hanging out for an entire hour. And she gave me her number. She said she wants to see me again. And I made it very clear, too, that this is not going to be platonic. I'm not here to just be buddy-buddy, right? That's important. Now, stepping back, the entire point of this video is to share with you that I was not dressed my best. I wasn't feeling my best. In fact, after jumping into the ocean, my hair was probably a mess, as it usually is. So it's a good thing I brought my comb, but even then, I didn't get to look real closely in a mirror and do my hair and everything like that. So I was not objectively at my best in terms of appearance, but I still stepped up and took the opportunity, because at the end of the day, there's never going to be a perfect time for anything like this, and especially with a girl like her. Now, for the most part, the women I see out here in Cancun, in the places that I go, are going to be more on the cute, pretty side of things, right? If I had to assign a number, which I don't like to do, on the 1 to 10 scale, I'd have to say usually you'll see the 6s, the 7s, maybe an occasional 8. This woman was a solid 9, right? She was great. On top of it, as I mentioned, she had a great personality, and she was actually pretty intelligent, which gives credence to the idea that the most beautiful women have the best personalities. And it's funny because a lot of guys probably think the exact same things that I had running through my head when I first saw her, that it's not worth going up to her. She's probably going to turn me down. She probably has a boyfriend. She probably goes out with the rich guys. She probably has super high expectations. All this garbage. But I had the courage to go up and actually do it. And that's my message for you. There's a lot of material out there about pickup and cold approach and all of this stuff. But at the end of the day, if you just do it, just by sheer virtue of playing the numbers game, and of course taking care of yourself, presenting yourself as best as you can, and it does help that I was wearing a tank top and I've been taking the gym a lot more seriously, so I had that working in my favor. Plus, communication, social skills, and strong language skills in this particular scenario. When you have all of these things together, then all that's really left for you to be successful is to step up and take the opportunity. And that's what I did. And that's what I'd encourage all of you to do, because you cannot let what other people say, whether it be men, whether it be women, naysayers, detract you from going for what you actually want. Right? At the end of the day, if I had gone up to her and she'd rejected me, no one would remember, no one would care, except for me and maybe her. No one would have given a solitary shit. But it ended up working out pretty well. Now we're connected. Now we're probably going to go out later this week. And if anything, she knows a whole bunch of people in Cancun. She's been here a little longer than I have. So if anything, I'm usually opposed to the idea of having female friends, but if anything, maybe she can connect me with other people and I can go out and make some new friends and maybe even meet other women through her. Who knows? Maybe I'm extrapolating too far. But the main message here, and if you're still watching this, if you're still wanting to listen and hear me out, then great. Because basically the main message is, don't listen to other people when it comes to this stuff. Just take action, just do it. You might not be feeling 100%. In fact, you might be feeling like you're far less than ideal in a given scenario, like I was yesterday, right? Like I said, my shirt literally had a hole in it, and the print on it was already fading away and kind of cracked. And I had probably still a little bit of sand on me. I didn't care. I mean, I did, but I acted in spite of that. So that's what it all comes down to. Fortune favors the brave. And there's definitely a difference between being brave and being foolhardy. And at the end of the day, you're going to get a whole lot more out of life when you just step up and do it, rather than letting these voices hold you back. Because the funniest thing is, there's probably a whole bunch of other guys who saw her yesterday, who have more money than me, who might be better looking than me, who might be taller, who might be native Spanish speakers, whatever, and they didn't go up to her, they didn't say hi, they didn't try to do something, and I did. And that's why I won. In my mind, I call that a victory, and why they didn't. So, let this be a message of hope and something to inspire you and carry you forward the coming week. So, take care and have a good one.